Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to Astrology with Georgie. In this video we are going to discuss the current transit of Mars moving through the sign of Virgo. We're going to be talking a little bit about what Mars in Virgo in general means energy wise, and then also what it means for you based on your sign. So hang in there with me. Before you skip to your sign, make sure you're listening to the intro because this is going to give you an idea of this energy kind of collectively. Now before we get into it, if you are new here, hello, welcome, thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, especially if you get some value from this video so we don't lose each other in the abyss of YouTube. Please give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. What are your thoughts on this transit? As that does help the algorithm push the video out, so I'd really appreciate that from you guys. I am a Western astrologer, so we are looking at the tropical zodiac here, and I do work in whole sign houses as well. If you are somebody that's fairly new to astrology, or even if you're not, I would really recommend switching your house system to whole sign houses, especially if you're new, because it's just much easier to read the chart, and it means you haven't got to keep working out where however many degrees of which sign is in which house. It can be quite confusing especially if you're new to astrology. If the system works for you, if you're using Placidus and that system works for you, then obviously that's completely your own choice. But as somebody that's been working with whole signs for a very long time now and seeing the accuracy of, especially when planets are transiting, I would really recommend switching to whole sign houses, and you can just do that on whichever software you're using. You can switch the house system. There are actually many house systems in astrology, but whole sign houses is one of the most original and traditional house systems, so would thoroughly recommend. Now, but also if you are using Placidus, you are going to have to maybe listen to more than one rising sign as we go through the signs. So, hope everyone's well. How's everyone doing? Have we been feeling this Jupiter squaring Saturn and Neptune stuff going on? We've also had Mars squaring Uranus. So the weekend, I'm recording this on Wednesday. The weekend and Monday, Tuesday have kind of all felt a little bit heavy in some way. And for a lot of us, there's been a challenge, or we're having to overcome something, or we're feeling stuck. This is a collective energy. Jupiter is squaring Saturn. Jupiter wants to expand, wants to be positive, and Saturn wants to, keep us more serious and keep us restricted and constricted. So if you have been feeling a bit stuck, then you could always blame the planets, guys. I give you permission. But this is just a transit we're working through. So I hope everyone is okay. Now we have got a fresh energy because Mars, which has been in Leo for such a long time now because of the retrograde, he's finally moving into Virgo. Okay, so it's going to be here for about 6 weeks until the 6th of August. I think was the exact date. Now we're all going to be feeling this because Mars is one of those planets. It's a personal planet. The personal planets are the planets that are closest to us. So we can feel the energy of the sun. We can feel the energy of Mercury and Mars and Venus when they are changing signs. We feel them kind of on a personal level because they are moving quickly. Mars is a little bit slower, spending slower than Venus, so spending between 6, 7, 8 weeks roughly in each sign. So it depends which sign it is. It depends on retrograde. Sometimes it's longer than that, but around 6 weeks in a sign. And we can feel this. This is quite literally our physical energy. It's our masculine energy. So what we're putting energy into comes from Mars. What Mars is doing up above is going to be affecting us down here on Earth. So Mars, now that it's in Virgo, so we've got to think about what is Virgo and what is Mars, and then we're blending them together. So Mars, like I said, is ruling our energy. It's our motivation. It's how we deal with conflict. It is our sexual energy, our masculine energy, and it gives us motivation to kind of get up and do stuff. And how we're asserting that comes from the sign in which it's being expressed. So Mars expressed in Virgo is going to put an emphasis on Virgo energy collectively. What is Virgo? Virgo is a mutable earth sign. So yes, it's earth, so it's grounded, it's practical. Mars actually does quite well in earth signs because Mars likes to focus on goals and getting stuff done. And earth signs, not so much in Taurus because Mars is in the sign of its detriment in Taurus, but Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So if we think about the energy of Capricorn and the similarities between Capricorn and Virgo, we can see why Mars does fairly well in Virgo, because Virgo likes to plan, Virgo likes to organize, Virgo likes the details of things, and Mars is good at this. So this energy is going to help us all become more detail orientated, to really home in on the details of things, the aspects of things when we're doing things. So when we're in our home, when we're at work, when we're trying to organize and get things done, this is going to make us more organized. It's going to make us more punctual. It's going to make us more focused on having a plan and having a certain order in which we do things. I find this, so Mars and Leo is like, I'm just going to lead with passion and creativity and see where that creativity takes me. Fire signs kind of tend to want to go with the flow a little bit. So you're kind of led by whether you're feeling creative with Mars in Leo, whereas Mars in Virgo is, and I can personally already feel this shift. Okay, what am I going to do today? What's my plan? What am I going to do first? It's going to help you get that schedule. And especially if you don't have much of this organizational energy in your chart, this is going to be really, really helpful for you in terms of planning, organizing, and getting stuff done. So, great for organizational skills, great for focusing on the details of things. This, Virgo is the sign of logic. It's the sign of perfectionism. Now, Mars in Virgo, yes, it's going to give us the energy to focus on the details of things and really, really think, okay, how do I want to do this? For example, I can't post that post on social media because it's not perfect. So we're going to be spending time making sure we are happy with things rather than just putting them out there and just thinking, oh, that'll do. We're going to be more like, no, that's not quite right. I'm going to do it again. But this obviously can go too far. And so the downside of Mars is, because it's our energy, it's also our frustration and our aggression. So in the sign of Virgo, it can actually be that we're getting frustrated when things are not perfect enough. We're getting frustrated when things are not going to plan. We're getting frustrated when things are not in order, when things are not perfect. And that's where the frustration can come in. So we just have to learn to actually channel this in more of a healthy way rather than we're getting frustrated that things aren't perfect. So there can be over perfectionism with this transit, which is something that we need to watch out for. This is going to show up differently for everyone. Obviously, when I run through the signs, you'll know which area of your chart this is most likely to manifest. But just in general, we can be more nitpicky. We can be more critical. We can be self-critical. We can be, critical of other people, critical of ourselves, because we're noticing the details of things. Virgo picks up on everything. It doesn't miss anything. It's like the craftsman. The archetype of Virgo is the craftsman. Somebody developing and perfecting a particular skill. It reminds me of Liam Neeson in Taken, where he's like, I have a very particular set of skills. Like, that is Mars in Virgo, okay? That just reminded me of that then. So, yeah, so we're perfecting something, but we just have to be aware of the over-perfectionism, like reminding ourselves that actually things don't always have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect, and that needs to be the motto with Mars in Virgo, but it is going to help us in a productive way. Now, we need to think about what else Virgo rules. So Virgo rules over our health. So there can be more energetic focus on our health. This can manifest as you are, more motivated to eat healthily. You're more aware of what you're putting into your body. You're more focused on having a health routine, on becoming more organized with, getting up, going for a run, or going to the gym. You're just more disciplined in your health matters. Obviously this won't be for everyone, because some people are just not into that, but it might manifest in a different way. It might be that actually during Mars and Virgo transit, you're deciding that you're going to eat more fruit, or you're going to drink bottled water instead of tap water. I don't know, little things like that. You might just see them showing up because there's just energy, Mars, in matters of the health. Now, Mars is also inflammation. It aggravates. So for some people, there's going to be more inflammation in the body, more aggravation, more heat rash, skin issues of hotness, especially, if you're, summer where I'm in the UK, it depends where you guys are. Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. If you're hot, this is a time where we might see more cases of sunburn and just that kind of inflammation of the skin, inflammation of our bodies. So you can counteract this by drinking ginger, and just, again, it's the focusing on the health. What natural health remedies can help you with inflammation in the body? Maybe go and research those, and that will help you out if you are struggling with any of those things. That can also be the case of being overly critical around our bodies. So we're focused on our bodies, we're focused on our health, but we could be getting frustrated about something and being overly critical. So you could be feeling like, oh, why am I not losing weight? Or, oh, why am I not feeling better? You know, there's the element, because Mars, remember, Mars is a malefic planet. It's a challenging planet, especially if you're born in the day. So there can be that frustration around our bodies. And criticizing of our health, criticizing of our bodies. You know, why am I so out of breath? Why am I feeling so bad? Why is my skin bad? And there's that overly criticism around our bodies, and that will be showing up for some people. Now, just to go back to that point, if you look at your own chart, if your sun is above the ascendant and above the descendant in this top section of your chart, you are a day chart. If your sun is positioned under the ascendant and under the descendant actually isn't on here, but it will be 3 degrees of, for example, in this chart, it would be 3 degrees of the opposite sign, which is Aries. If your sun is in the bottom section of the chart, this means you are a night chart. Saturn is your most challenging planet. For day people, Mars is your most challenging planet. So the Mars transits can show up a little bit more in a more challenging way than not. Now, but also Mars is, you know, we need Mars, we need our energy, and there are healthy ways to channel this. So we've spoken about health and the body. Virgo is also the sign of service, so you may feel called towards helping people in some way. It could be that you just feel like you want to go and help your mum or your dad, or you want to be helpful towards your friends, and small acts of service are on your mind. It could be that you're just doing, you know, you're more likely to hold the door open for somebody, or you're more likely to go and help somebody clean out their garage. Small acts of service like that, there's going to be more energy towards those. Virgo likes to help, and so we may feel inclined towards helping others more during this time than we usually would, which is a beautiful, obviously, transit and lovely energy. Virgo is also associated with it's our daily work and our daily routines. So like I said before about perfecting things, getting things done, this is going to help us perfect our daily work. So this is actually going to be helpful for, so for example, if you run your own business and you're not very good at organizing your time, this is going to be really, really helpful for you, organizing your time, organizing your schedules. On the one hand, it can also be frustrations in the workplace. So you could be frustrated with your schedules, frustrated with your working conditions, your working environment, or you could get frustrated with the people that you're working with. This Virgo rules your co-workers, it rules people that work for you. So frustrations or conflict can arise with co-workers. It could be that you're being critical of their work, they're being critical of your work, and you've got that conflict aspect. Important thing is obviously to communicate. Virgo is one of the signs connected to communication because it's ruled by Mercury. We need to communicate how we're feeling. Otherwise, we're going to be overthinking things, we're going to be in our heads, and this is not going to be a healthy manifestation of this energy. Now, Virgo also rules our pets, so there's energy in the area of small pets. So it could be that your pets are frustrating you. For example, my cat has weed on the carpet and we can't get the smell out, and it is driving us insane. And this has been building for a few days, and Mars obviously went into Virgo yesterday. I'm filming this on the 18th, but yeah, so there's definitely for me an element of frustration around our pets. So for you, it could be something similar. Your pets, there's an element of frustration, or you're just putting energy in. So maybe you're going on more walks. Maybe you're spending more time in nature. Virgo, this would be a healthy way to work with this energy. Spending more time in nature, because Virgo rules plants, it rules nature, it is the earth sign and it's mutable. So moving around in nature, going for nature walks, going for hikes is a really good manifestation of this energy. And if you find that you are overthinking, because like I said, Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury is our mind, it's our intellect, it's our thoughts. So during this transit, we can all be in our heads more. We're overthinking things. We're thinking, should I have said that? Did I say too much? And there's this mental activity going on, this overstimulation of our mind. So Mars in Virgo is going to heighten that. So it's going to be important to try and, express this energy and get it out of our body. So again, get in the gym, go for long nature walks, or do something logical to use your mind. Go and do some puzzles, some escape rooms, Sudoku, word search. Watch the 1% Club, which is a logic program, which I absolutely love. Go and do things that are going to use your mind, and that's how you're going to channel this energy. So you're channeling it into puzzle solving rather than criticizing other people or yourself. Okay, so this is how we work with the Mars in Virgo energy. Now, is there anything else I wanted to say? So let me just think. So we've spoken about Virgo being health, service, routines, small pets. I think we've kind of spoken mostly about Virgo. Now, I want to just say this transit, so if you have Aries placements or you have Scorpio placements, Mars rules those. So Sun, Moon, Rising in Aries or Scorpio is going to be, you guys are going to be mainly affected by this. And also people with Virgo, because Mars is going to quite literally be moving through your sign. So Virgo, Scorpio, Aries, you're going to feel this transit more than anyone else. Especially Aries and Scorpio, you're going to feel quite the energy of this, because when Mars rules you, whichever sign it's moving through, you feel the energy. So you can feel yourself becoming maybe more organized, maybe more logical, maybe more critical. It's going to manifest. Also, just to say, Virgo likes things in order and cleanliness. So you can actually channel this into cleaning. Go and frantically clean your home. You may find yourself having the need to clean and declutter. Declutter is a really good word for Virgo. They don't like things to be cluttered. Cluttered house is a cluttered mind. Cluttered office, cluttered mind. We don't want that. We want to organize. We want to declutter. So you might find yourself actually, and this is kind of for everyone, wanting to sort things out in your home, just getting real satisfaction from organizing and cleaning. Obviously, this isn't going to be everyone. It depends on kind of your personality as well. But yes, so Aries and Scorpio, you're going to be feeling this. Virgo, you're going to be feeling this. But also mainly Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, because you're mutable signs. Mars is going to be moving through an angular house, and it's going to be creating a square or an opposition to your planets. So this means you're going to feel this transit more strongly. It means that you are going to be one of the signs that this transit affects in a little bit more of a challenging way. Okay, now everyone is going to feel this transit in some way, but you guys are going to be feeling it in a little bit more of a challenging way because of the opposition and the squares that it's going to be making to your own personal planets. But like I said, you can channel this energy in a healthy way by going out, using your mind, and focusing your energy on healthy things rather than just criticizing and kind of self-criticizing as well. Now, interestingly, the South Node is in Virgo as well. So I feel like this transit is kind of relevant in terms of karmic matters. The South Node is the point of karma. It's the node of the moon. It's what we are releasing, and it's issues to do with the past. So while Mars is in Virgo, we may see things to do with past energy coming up, especially when Mars conjuncts the South Node in a couple of weeks' time. There's going to be elements of things that we need to let go of, because the South Node in Virgo is, we are actually trying to release the need for things to be perfect. We're trying to release how we criticize. We're trying to release having to have everything done in a certain way, like the element of control, because we're leaning into Pisces energy, North Node in Pisces, where we are trusting in the unknown, we're trusting in the divine, we're trusting in God's plan, in the universe's plan, whoever you want to call it. We're trusting in not having everything perfection. So Mars is going to kind of aggravate this, and it's going to kind of bring up things that we realize that we need to let go of in some way. South Node is very karmic, so there is going to be an element of that. Now, because Mercury rules this, Mercury is in charge of Mars while Mars is in Virgo. So what Mercury's doing is also going to be important, and there's going to be a link here. So it's kind of activating Mercury. At the moment, Mercury is in Cancer. Let's just get the chart along so you guys can see. On the 27th of June, Mercury is then going to go into Leo. So there's going to be a shift here from thinking intuitively and being a bit more sensitive with Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is then going to move into the sign of Leo, where we are more flirtatious, we are more fun, we are thinking more creatively, and we are kind of acting more on impulse rather than intuition. Now, there is going to be a Mercury retrograde, I believe, yes, while Mars is in the sign of Virgo. So around the 19th of July, Mercury is going to go retrograde. So the planet that's in charge of Mars is going to be so it's going to tie in the Virgo section of your chart and the Leo section of your chart. Mercury is going to be rethinking something. It's going to be more internal. It's going to be more internalized. So in turn, that can make our energy and what we're putting our energy into slightly more internalized. There's just going to be a connection here between the Virgo section of your chart and the Leo section of your chart. But we'll talk about that a little bit when we go through the signs. So we're going to run through the signs now, and as always, we will start from Aries and we will move all the way through to Pisces. Your rising sign is going to be the most accurate. Always listen for your rising sign, because that is quite literally going to be taking us from the houses, exactly through the houses where they sit in your chart. And then listen for your sun sign, because the sun is also very relevant. And then also listen for your moon sign, because the moon sign, although it's going to be more internalized, or it might be connected more emotionally or kind of to do with matters of the home, of family in some way, it's still going to be relevant. So listen to all three, but knowing that the rising sign is going to be most accurate. Okay, Aries, sun, moon and rising. You guys are having, obviously Mars is moving through your 6th house. So the things that we've mentioned in the intro are going to be very specific and relevant to you, because obviously you have the natural zodiacal order. So Mars is putting energy into your routines, your health, your work, how you are of service. Now, Mars rules you. It rules your physical body. So for you guys, there's definitely going to be some theme here around your health. And I would say just watch out. Now, you are one of the signs that needs to watch out for, for sunburn, for inflammation of the skin, for inflammation of the body, things becoming aggravated around the body, things becoming inflamed, because Mars burns, its fire, so it can inflame. We can quite literally burn ourselves, and things can just become aggravated with Mars in the 6th house. So that's just something to watch out for. It's usually kind of like accidents, like you might cut yourself. Mars rules knives and sharp objects. So there might be an element of cutting or inflammation around your body in some way. Now there's going to be focus and energy in your work and your routine. So on the one hand, you could be very focused around your schedule. It could be that you're feeling busier, but you're actually feeling more motivated to get stuff done. You're putting your energy into what you're working towards. So you're organizing your schedules, you are organizing, your daily work, exactly what you want to be putting your energy into. You're going to have more energy to do it. If your schedule's busy, you're going to have more energy for this. Be careful of becoming burnt out, because that is also a possibility where you're putting too much energy into your work and you're spending too much time at work, and you can become burnt out. Mars also rules your 8th house. This is the house of psychology. So just be careful that you're not working so much that it's affecting your mental health. For some of you, because the 8th house is divination, so it could be that your work is connected to the divine or connected to death topics, taboo topics, subjects that we don't normally talk about. Anything metaphysical is tying into your routine. So it could be that you're putting energy into having a tarot reading, going to a psychic evening, or your daily energy is involved in taboo topics in some sense, or there could be focus on topics of death in some way, or your own transformation. So part of your routines could involve going to therapy. Part of your routine could involve working on your mental health, and this is going to make your physical health better. So maybe you're trying to improve your physical health by working on your mental health. That could be possible for some of you. It could be that you are focusing on your morning mindset routine and getting organized around your routines to do with your mental health and the psychology aspect of things. It could also be that you're earning money from joint resources, so from trading, from you're getting putting work into, so maybe you're working with other people, so you're getting money, because your 8th house is joint resources, but this is connecting with the work that you're doing. So perhaps you are focusing on collaborations with other people, working with other people, maybe coaching other people, and this is forming part of your daily routine in some way. Again, you guys might be frustrated around pets or have some frustrations in the workplace. People you work with could be irritating you. There could be some conflict, so just watch out for that. Make sure that you're kind of talking things through. There could be some secrets that are revealed within the workplace. Things come out. If you work in for example, if you were to work in an old people's home, there could be a death in the home during this transit, because Mars rules the 8th house of death, but it's your work environment, or maybe somebody at work actually sadly passes away. That could be possible, not for a lot of you, but that is a small chance that could happen. But generally, this is going to be, you're focusing on your health, you're focusing on your routines. If you're not focusing on your health, you're going to feel burnt out. But there's an element here on refining what you're putting into your body and having more attention and focus on that. And just becoming more organized maybe with your schedules. So let me know, Aries, your thoughts on this transit. If you're watching this, well, whenever you're watching this, are you feeling this manifest already? Let me know in the comments and I will see you in the next one. Also, just to say, I do personal readings. If you would like your own chart read, then please drop me an email or you can book through my website. So Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising, you guys are having Mars move into your 5th house. So this is a sign that is trining you. It's a fellow earth sign. So this is a more pleasant transit for you guys, especially after you've had Mars in your 4th house, which could have been bringing some frustrations within the home for a very long time now. But Mars in your 5th house is going to be putting your energy and your focus into things that you are creating. So this is the house of creativity. Mars is our energy, it's our action. So we can be putting more effort into our creations. You could have more energy towards your business, more energy towards quite literally things that you are creating. Mars rules your 12th house of hidden things. So maybe things that have been hidden are now coming out from the surface. If you've been working on a creative project behind the scenes to do with your business, then there's going to be more kind of energy and momentum around that. You could be attracting more interest in love in some way, because Mars also rules your 7th house of relationships. So you could be attracting romance to you, but also on the flip side of that, there could be some conflict in current partnerships. So just watch out. Just watch out for conflict within partnerships. Your partner could be irritating you, they could be annoying you, or if you're single, you could be attracting romance in some way, and it could be somebody behind the scenes that fancies you and now you're realizing they like you or something like that. Mars is our sexual energy. And when it moves in the 5th house, we can feel more flirtatious. We can feel more, we can just attract masculine energy to us. Even if you're a guy watching this, there's just an element of that magnetism coming to you. It is in the sign of Virgo, so again, it is kind of more like we're criticizing as well, or we're noticing details about this. So maybe you're noticing that somebody likes you, or you're becoming more disciplined with, if you're going on a date, you're deciding, actually, no, I don't really like that person, they're not good for me. And you could be a bit more critical about your potential romances in some sense. If you're in a partnership, again, it can be you're criticizing your partner, your things that they're doing are annoying you, or you're just nitpicking about things that a partner's doing. So that's just something to watch out for. This is the house of hobbies and fun. So you could be putting more energy into what you do for fun. And because Mars rules your 12th house, it could be that 12th house topics you're doing for fun. So spiritual retreats, yoga retreats, energy healing, Reiki, any kind of spiritual energy connection type of stuff that happens behind closed doors, you're doing for fun. So it could be that you're visiting somewhere with a best friend, with a partner, and you're doing these things for fun. You're finding it really enjoyable. Maybe you're joining a spiritualist church, or you're visiting a place of retreat for fun with somebody. So there's this element of spiritual matters and doing them for fun. Now, Mars rules your 12th house of hospitals and clinics, and this is the house of children. So there could be a sense of having to tend to hospital or clinic appointments because of a child. It could be that you're pregnant and you're having to visit clinics, or you're trying to get pregnant and you're having appointments. There's energy in the house of children here. Again, there can be some frustration. So it could be that it's either going to be that you're putting your energy into it, you're going and visiting these places, or you're getting frustrated about topics to do with children in some way. If you already have kids, it could be that your children are frustrating you. Maybe they're not listening. Maybe they are going through something themselves and it's frustrating. And that could be how that manifests. This is also the house of where we take risks. So it could be that you're wanting to do some betting, or you're wanting to do something a bit more risky than what you normally would. You could just find yourself wanting to go and bet on the horses, or do something that you wouldn't normally do. Or even if you would normally do it, there's just going to be more energy here between, taking risks. But this is great. This is great in terms of if you have your own business, like I said, putting energy into that business and passion and finalizing the details of whatever it is that you're creating. There is going to be a karmic connection at some point in one of the topics I've mentioned, when Mars meets the South Node. And then if we're going to talk about when Mercury retrogrades in your 4th house next month, there's definitely going to be a rethinking around family matters connected to children or family matters connected to your love life in some way. But I think I'm going to do it. I definitely will do a separate video on the Mercury retrograde, so maybe we'll touch on it more during that video. So Taurus, let me know your thoughts on this transit. Keep your cool head, make sure you're communicating, try not to let your partner annoy you as that is possible. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, drop me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising. So Mars has moved into Virgo. It's now in your 4th house. So this is a bit more challenging because the 4th house is a house that's squaring you. So whatever your placements are in Gemini, Mars is going to square them. If you have any planets in Virgo as well, Mars is going to touch these and square your planets. So a little bit more challenging. But basically, this transit is about frustrations within the home. It could be that you are being critical of a family member. Maybe a family member's getting on your nerves. Maybe a lodger or somebody that you live with is annoying you in some way. Maybe they are leaving their toothbrush out of the toothbrush holder, or they are being really noisy in the mornings, or they're not tidying up after themselves, and it's frustrating you. There's an element of frustration with family members or home members in some way. Now, you just have to try and remember that this transit does kind of aggravate things, but it's only going to be a few weeks, and when it moves on, the things that are bothering you now might not bother you as much, but at the moment they're going to be heightened and they're going to be aggravated. Mars rules your 11th house of friendships and goals. So it could be there's an element of frustration to do with friends or groups, or actually maybe your goals for the future, especially if it comes to your home, are not coming to fruition just yet, and then you're feeling frustrated about it because the 4th house is our emotion. So you could be getting really pent up emotionally and feeling like just kind of internal analyzing can go on here. So internally you're overthinking, you're over criticizing of things in the home, and there's this internal frustration going on in some way. Mars also rules your 6th house of your health and your routines. So you could be frustrated again about your work, and it could be an internal frustration, like your work's not going to plan, or maybe your clients aren't coming in and therefore your goals aren't manifesting, and there's just this internal frustration of your emotions and how you're feeling. It could also be that you are channeling energy into fixing your home, and maybe your schedules or your goals at the moment are based around organizing your home or fixing your home. You guys could be definitely one of the signs that you're frantically cleaning, you're organizing, maybe you're redecorating, or you're fixing stuff. This is a really good energy to fix stuff. Go and fix the bath panel, go and hang up paintings, go and do those little nitpicky things that you've been meaning to do. Channel this energy into doing that, because otherwise it's going to manifest internally and there's going to be this internal frustration. There could be some energy here also around diving into your ancestry or the past. You could be thinking about the past, overthinking about the past, overthinking about what's gone and what's come, and then criticizing, why did my family, why was I brought up this way? And that over criticism of family and ancestry and past matters can come up at some point, especially as Mars hits the South Node, which is about the past. So you are going to be encouraged to let things go. Let go of how your parents raised you if it's affecting you now. Your daddy issues, your mummy issues, whatever they are, you're being called to let those go during this transit. You are going to have a Mercury retrograde in the 3rd house, which is directly going to tie in communications, your neighborhood, and these family matters in some way, but I am going to do a separate video on that. But mainly for you guys, this is going to be about internal frustration, things within the home, wanting to, and like I said before, just make sure that you're channeling this into fixing stuff, because this can feel like an inward battle a lot. So just hang in there, guys. Don't forget, if you need your own personal chart read, I do readings. I do a variety of readings for different budgets. So just take a look at my website if you would like one of those, and I will see you in the next video. Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising. Okay, guys, you are experiencing Mars move out of your 2nd house and into the 3rd house. So the 3rd house is about our mind. So you are one of the signs where this can be a little bit more mentally active for you. There's going to be more overthinking. There's going to be more living in your head. Go and exercise, journal, write things down, get your words out through breath work. Get your thoughts out through either writing your thoughts down on paper, or breath work is really, really good. The 3rd house is connected to Gemini and the lungs. So breath work, breathing, if you feel that you are overthinking. Third house is connected to our local community. So you could be putting more of your energy into the local community in some way. You could be, going to local groups. Mars rules your 5th house of fun. So you could be visiting local groups for fun, to do with anything that you decide is a hobby or something. But, maybe you and your friends are going to a class or a group or whatever you like to do with your friends. There's going to be more socializing and connection for fun in some way. Mars also rules your 10th house of career. So this is channeling your career matters into communication. So there can be some frustrations with how you communicate, or maybe somebody's criticizing you verbally from your work, or you are putting more energy into blogging, into writing, into social media, into perfecting your social media, organizing your schedule around social media. What do I want to post? When do I want to post it? Making sure everything's spelt right, making sure everything's correct. And there's this, which you're good at anyway with Virgo on the 3rd house, but making sure and just having this schedule around things and putting more energy into it. Also being frustrated. So there can also be some frustration around those matters. It could be that you're not feeling seen for the work that you're doing, or you're not feeling as seen as you would like to for the work that you are doing, the work that you're putting out. Careful, you're going to be more blunt with this. You're going to be finding it easy to just be blunt and say what you think. So just be careful that comes across in a more diplomatic way. You are a Cancer rising, you can read the room, right? So you're gentle anyway, but there just might be an element of just conflict verbally, or just getting frustrated or saying things in a more frustrating way is possible. 3rd house is also our local travel, and also like our trips. So like when you're going to the supermarket, you might be getting in the wrong queue, and then you're frustrated because you're in the slowest queue. That kind of stuff can happen. It can be that you're feeling more frustrated when you're driving faster. You're wanting to be quicker. So like when you're going about your errands, you're wanting to do things quick, and then you're frustrated if people are getting in the way. Just learn to breathe, Cancer. Just learn to calm it down. Watch out for road rage. And also this is the house of siblings and relatives, so there can be some conflict either with them or conflict in their lives. So there's just a bit more energy here with siblings and relatives in some way, but for the most part this is going to be about how you're connecting with others, whether it be through social media, through communication, travel. You might find yourself going on more trips, like I said, putting more energy into local stuff. You're just going to be a bit more here, there and everywhere, but there's going to be some frustrating things happening at the same time. Like if you get on the bus, maybe the bus driver's acting like a maniac, things like that can show up. But you'll have to let me know how this transit goes. Again, just going back to that point, because Mars rules your 5th house of love and dating and children. So it can be trips, appointments because of children, so doctor's appointments because of children or babies, communicating because of that matter, communication issues or energy around communication and romantic partners are possible in some way. You are going to have a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo next month. Mercury is in charge of Mars. There's an element of connection here between what you value and how you're connecting, or your money and social media in some way, but I'm going to do a separate video on the Mercury retrograde stuff coming up for you. That was a lot to talk about without breathing. Don't forget, I do personal readings. If you would like your own chart read, then please take a look at my website. You can book through there. I do a variety of readings for different budgets. So if you think that will be of help to you, then obviously drop me a message. And I hope this transit is good for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising. You guys have Mars now in the 2nd house of your finances, your values and your self-worth. This is also the house of your possessions and your talents and your skills. It's the things that you possess. Mostly it's your money. So Mars rules your 9th house of your beliefs, of your higher education, of your learning, of your travel. Moving into your 2nd house. You might be spending money on travel. You might be spending money on learning. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to do a course. Maybe you want to expand your mind on personal development matters and you're spending money on it. But Mars can burn a hole in your pocket through this transit. So it can be that you are spending more money than you have, or as soon as money comes in, money is going out again in some respect. this is connecting your values and your beliefs. More energy into what do I value, what do I believe in, and you're focusing on this, what's important. This is your worldview and this is what you value. So you're really maybe thinking and just overthinking actually about what's important to me, what do I value, what money do I have, and trying to see the bigger picture, but it's tying in with your finances and your values. Mars also rules your fourth house of the family and the home. So there could be matters of home and money, matters of emotional things and what you value and your money. So spending money on home matters, having to spend money on the home, that kind of stuff can come up. So it could be that something breaks or something is faulty or broken and you're having to spend money on it, and that's where the Mars burning a hole in the pocket can come from. Can also be that you're making money from, maybe you work from home and money's coming in from your working from home job. That's possible. It could be that your again, it's the emphasis and the thinking about your values to do with your home. What's important to me? Who do I want to live with? Do I want a family? All of these, do I want children? All of this kind of stuff can come up with the fourth house. And the second house is, okay, what do I own? So there's more energy and more emphasis here. Now, it can also be a case of organizing your finances because it's Leo. So, sorry, it's not Leo, it's Virgo. So organizing your finances, getting organized, excuse me, thinking, okay, well, how much do I have? How much do I need to pay for this? And organizing your bills and just being more focused and organized around your financial situation, because Virgo needs clarity and order in order to feel, at ease. It's ruled by Mercury. And so there is a sense of wanting to organize your finances in order to help your mental health, especially with Mercury moving through your 12th house of your mental health, wanting to know where the money's coming from, and wanting to have a bit more clarity and a bit more control around that in order to ease your mental health in a sense. Now, you are going to have a Mercury retrograde in your first house next month, which is directly connected to this transit. So there's going to be a rethinking around who you are, maybe your job, who you are, and it's directly connected to your values and your money. But I am going to do a separate video on that. There is going to be something karmic coming up towards the end of this transit when Mars hits the South Node. Releasing unhealthy money blocks is also possible, or unhealthy spending habits can be possible around this time. Now, let me know your thoughts, Leo. What's been going on for you? Can you feel this energy shift? If you would like your own personal chart read, I do readings. I do a variety of readings for different budgets. Take a look at my website, which is linked, and I will see you guys in the next video. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This transit is very personal for you. Mars is in your sign. So Mars does quite well in the first house, because if you think the first house is naturally ruled by Aries, Mars rules Aries. So Mars in the first house is actually really good for motivation and giving you enough energy to get up off your bum and do what you want to do. So you can be feeling, especially because Mars has been in your 12th house for so long now, more energized, more ready to get going, more motivated to do whatever it is that you want to do. Mars rules your third house of the local neighborhood. So you could find yourself wanting to attend groups or wanting to connect with people, wanting to communicate with people more than you have been. Mars also rules your 8th house of transformation. It could be that you have more of an interest in occult topics. It could be that you're more focused on joint finances or finances of a partner in some way. Maybe you're going through your own transformation and you're focusing on yourself a lot at this time. Be careful of self-criticism. On the one hand, you're going to have more energy, but on the other hand, you can be more self-criticism. You could be more self-critical, You could be critical of your body, critical of how you look, and just kind of being more critical of yourself as a person. So that's just something to watch out for. But it could also speak towards you diving into your psyche in some way. So whether that is that you're having a psychic reading, whether that is you're going to a medium night, there's an interest here in your own personal development. You could be having therapy. There's an interest in your own personal development and you as a person. So just more interest in the deeper aspects of yourself. And that could tie in with visiting groups or with group work or connection, or not. There's also an element of maybe connecting more with siblings or relatives and just focusing more on who you are in relation to your siblings, in relations to your relatives, and you're really focusing on different aspects of your life and just having more energy. It could just be that you're traveling to local places more, like maybe you're going on local trips, you've got more energy to go out and just assert yourself in different ways. Okay, now the South Node is in your first house, so you are releasing things that no longer serve you, Virgo. You're releasing patterns of behavior, self-criticism, control, or trying to release the need. You're releasing the need to have control over everything because you're having to surrender to the Pisces, which is your opposite sign. Mars is going to activate this towards the end of the transit, where it hits the South Node, releasing something about yourself that's not helpful. So whether that be you're releasing old behaviors around, putting yourself down, that's going to be more relevant when Mars hits the South Node. Now, Mercury is going to do a retrograde in your 12th house, and Mercury is in charge of Mars next month. So there's going to be a rethinking around your healing, your self-sabotaging behaviors, connected to who you are, and that's going to be more relevant next month. But I am going to do a separate video on the Mercury retrograde, so we'll touch more on that then. But mainly for you guys, this is going to be, you're more organized, you're more energized, and you're just going out and you're just getting shit done. Basically, you're getting more shit done and you're just feeling more energized. Just be careful around, don't do anything dangerous in this transit. When Mars is in the first house, we don't want to be going skydiving or doing anything dangerous, and that's just my personal opinion. And it might be that you have more energy to do these things, but I just think Mars is a malefic planet, and I just personally would not be doing anything dangerous with Mars in my first house. So that is just my advice that I will give you. You don't have to take it. You can, if you're a daredevil, or, you're probably not as a Virgo rising, you're probably quite sensible, but if you've got other placements that would suggest you're a daredevil, just don't do anything too dangerous during this transit. So let me know your thoughts, Virgo. Can you feel this energy shift? What are your thoughts behind this? Don't forget, I do personal readings, so if you would like your own chart read, I do a variety of readings for a variety of budgets. You can check out my website, which is linked, and I'll see you in the next video. Libra, Sun, Moon and Rising. Mars has just moved into your 12th house. Now for you guys, this is a more introverted energy, okay? Mars is our energy and it's moving through your 12th. So you are going to feel less energized with this transit. You're actually going to feel like maybe you want to retreat more. You want to spend more time at home. You want to spend more time in meditation. You want to spend more time going within. This is a good energy to go within, to channel your energy into meditation, into breath work, into journaling, into exercises that connect to your mental health. Release that energy. That's a healthy way of releasing this energy, is to focus on spiritual practices. This is the house of self-sabotage. So you can find that you're your own worst enemy with this transit. You are self-sabotaging, you're criticizing yourself, and this can actually highlight mental health issues if you do already have them. Excuse me, you may find that you are more self-critical internally and in your mental health with this transit. This is the house of healing. So you're being encouraged to heal. So it's again, all these spiritual practices that you can utilize is a really healthy manifestation of this energy. Mars rules your second house of finances and your seventh house of one-on-one relationships. So there could be something about a relationship blossoming behind the scenes, something secretive happening. Maybe you have feelings for somebody that's not available, or you're healing something about a current partnership, or maybe you're visiting a partner that's far away, or there's just an element of relationships being inaccessible at this time, or something is going on behind the scenes to do with your one-on-one relationships. What's going on, Libra, there? But it could also just be that you're healing something, and it could be that you are going with a partner to a place of healing or a place of worship. Maybe you're going to church, maybe you're going to a spa, maybe you're going to do yoga with a partner or a best friend. That's how that can manifest as well. Maybe you're making business deals behind the scenes. Maybe you're making business deals around spiritual matters. So for example, you are signing up to do a retreat with somebody that does a different spiritual practice to you. That's obviously not going to be a lot of you, but for some of you it'll be something like that, where you're making business deals behind the scenes to do with spiritual matters. But for the most part, and probably for the most people watching this, You are going to be healing something, letting something go, retreating, and just trying to call your energy back to yourself during this transit. Now, just remember, this is a sign of Virgo. So again, just be careful of your mental health during this transit, because we can just not feel ourselves with planets moving through the 12th. We're overthinking. We're very much in our heads, okay? So again, it's going back to that self-sabotage. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about? What are you overly thinking about? Where are you self-criticizing, and where are you self-sabotaging? Are you spending too much time thinking about the wrong stuff? And that can be difficult when you've got Mars in the 12th, because it's kind of aggravating your mental health sector. But like I said, you can utilize this and channel this into doing things with your mind behind the scenes. So you are retreating, but you're focusing your mind. So again, it's coming into, what can you do to stimulate your mind? Go and do some logic stuff. Go and do an escape room or something. These are places of solitude. You could find yourself visiting like clinics and hospitals and things like that during this transit as well. And actually, making money behind the scenes, because Mars rules your second house of finances. Money can come from spiritual matters. Money can come from manifesting. Money can come from meditation. Or maybe you're finding it more difficult to access your finances at this time. That's also possible. Or you're just organizing your financial matters behind the scenes. That's possible. So mainly for you guys, this is about retreat, this is about meditation, this is about looking after your mental health, because you're preparing for Mars coming into your own sign in August, and then you'll feel much more energized then, guys, even though it's Libra. But it's better than having Mars in your 12th house. So just be gentle with yourself during this transit, because it can be a little bit tricky with Mars in the 12th house. Now, you are going to have a Mercury retrograding next month in your 11th. So there can be a rethinking around the groups and the organizations that you are a part of to do with spiritual matters. There's a link here. And there is going to be something karmic happening this month as well. So this is the house of karma. So karmic matters to do with your relationships, to do with past lives, can be relevant in some way. This is also the house of sleep. You may not be sleeping as well with Mars in the 12th, or you could just be having very active dreams. So maybe keep a dream journal. That could be helpful during this transit. Let me know your thoughts on this, Libra. Can you feel this energy coming already? Don't forget, I do personal readings. If you'd like your own chart read, I do a variety of readings for a variety of budgets. Take a look at my website, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Rising. This transit is relevant for you. Mars is your traditional chart ruler, and it has just moved into your 11th house. So this is kind of a friendly house with you. It's a sextile house. This is the house of our friendships, our groups, the organizations that we're a part of, the communities that we're a part of, humanitarian projects, social causes, charity work. So you could be putting your energy into all of these things. You could be spending more time with friends. You could be organizing, Virgo, your friendship group. You could be organizing people meeting up. You could be organizing, just putting your energy into your friends, wanting to spend more time with people, wanting to spend more time networking, finding you've got more energy to do that, and just concentrating that energy into group work. Could be that you're doing charity work, you're wanting to raise money for a charity. Maybe you're wanting to, especially because Mars rules your 6th house of health, maybe you're doing a run for charity or something like that. Your routines are connected to groups. So maybe there could be some frustrations with the people that you work with, definitely. So like if you work in an organization, you could be frustrated with the people that you work with. So just make sure that you're having conversations, healthy conversations, in order to alleviate that frustration. Now, the 11th house is also our goals, what we're working towards. So you could be focusing on your future. You could be focusing on, okay, where am I? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? Is this work getting me to where I want to be? Are my schedules getting me to where I want to be? Am I happy about this? And you're thinking about the future, but it's directly connected to your work and obviously to you. Where is my life headed? Is this job, do I like this job? Am I going to stay in this job? And there's a lot of focus on your future, but it's to do with your work, your routines, how you're being of service to other people. So maybe you're really focusing on serving a large group of people or serving humanity. There can be a lot of focus on serving humanity in some way. Being overly critical of friends at this time is possible. You know, why didn't she text me back? Why did she not do this? And just analysing stuff within friendship groups a bit too much. So just be wary of that you're analysing stuff a little bit too much when it comes to your friendship groups. Then conflict with friends can arise from that as well. Like I said, conflict with groups of people, but also conflict within your friends. But mainly this is going to be about you organizing group meetups and you focusing on where you're headed. So it could be that you're kind of putting focus into manifestation practices for the future. Because Mars rules your routine, so you're getting more focused around, you know, your routines and, okay, how can I get there? And maybe you're working on your manifestations of how you can reach your goals, and that would be a really good way to utilize this energy. Kind of work out how you can kind of organize routines for yourself that are going to help you reach your goals. You know, what time are you going to get up in the morning? Have you got enough time to do all of your tasks? And there's that focus on how you're moving forward with your future self, your future goals. Now, Mars is going to conjunct the South Node later on towards this transit, so that's going to be something karmic happening to do with friends and groups, and maybe saying goodbye to friends and groups that are no longer serving you, possibly for some of you. There is going to be a Mercury retrograde in Leo, which is going to connect these houses together. So there could be a rethinking around your career, a rethinking around your legacy, and it's connected to how you're serving people. The 11th house is also the internet. If you work on the internet, you could actually be putting a lot of focus here into the internet and into being seen, and just kind of really either getting frustrated about your reach, or you're just putting a lot of energy into serving people in a large capacity. So let me know, Scorpio, how you think this transit is playing out. Can you feel this energy shift? Is anything happening with your friends or your organizations at the moment? If you would like your own personal chart read, I do readings. Take a look at the information. My website is linked, and you can always drop me an email on or instead, or book through the website. Hope this transit is good for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, Mars is moving into your 10th house, or has just moved into your 10th house. So this is your house of career. This is your legacy. This is your reputation. Mars rules your 5th house of your business, love, life, creativity, and it also rules your 12th house of subconscious mind, self-undoing, things going on behind the scenes. This is also the house of spirituality and healing. So this is the top part of your chart. This is where you are seen. So Mars in the 10th house is putting focus here. So you could be really focused on your career in some way. You could be really focused on your business and what you're creating, and you are being seen more. Mars in the 10th house, you are seen more. Now, you could be seen in quite an sexual light in some way, like maybe you are drawing attention to you from men. That is definitely possible, because Mars is masculine energy, and the 10th house is how you are seen. So you could be drawing attention to you from men. Sounds a bit weird if you're a man watching this, but maybe it's something to do with your work and you're wanting to attract male clients. You can do that with Mars in the 10th house. If you're a female watching this, you might be attracting male energy to you, whether you like it or not, a romantic partner. But the 10th house is your public image, so you can be seen as more kind of sexual at this time. Sounds like a bit of a weird thing to say, but you're kind of you're seen, it's the same as having Venus, where you're just seen as feminine. Having Mars there, you're just kind of like people are seeing you in a kind of sexy way. So, you know, own it, guys. The 10th house is our career, so there can be some frustrations around the career. It could be that you are putting loads of work in and you're not getting the results that you want. You're being overly critical of the work that you're doing, especially if you run your own business. You're over criticizing, you're over analyzing, and therefore you're getting frustrated with the work. Can be a sudden ending to a career for some people, because Mars does tend to sever. Like, you can suddenly decide, right, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going to do something else. So changes to the career can happen. So it's either you're putting your energy into your career, you're getting frustrated around your career, or there can be some changes to the career. That's definitely possible. Changes to your public status are very possible as well, because Mars rules your 5th house of romance, This is your house of reputation. So changes to that. So it could be that you're breaking up with a partner and you're announcing it, or people are finding out that you and a partner are no longer together. That's definitely possible. Changes to your public image. And because Mars is a malefic planet, I want to say this is more breakups than actually getting together. I mean, it could be possible that you're getting into a relationship, because that would still work, but Mars tends to sever, so I feel like this would be more breakups than the other way round. There's just something about your relationship becoming in the public eye with Mars in the 10th house. It could be that you're becoming pregnant, and actually you're becoming known to be pregnant. You're announcing a pregnancy. That could be possible because this is the 5th house of children. So you could be announcing a pregnancy, some of you. That is possible. Your reputation. So again, this is kind of really highlighting some secrets could come out here because Mars rules your 12th house. So some secrets could be revealed to the public, or you could be known for your healing. You could be seen to be healing. You could be seen to be meditating. You could be seen to be doing yoga, going to a retreat. You know, maybe you're doing some spiritual things to heal yourself and you're posting about it on social media. And so you're becoming known that you're healing something. You're more visible. When you have planets go through the 10th house, you're visible. So your public image and how people see you is more visible. And obviously in this day and age, it's probably going to be because you're posting stuff online, but it's not necessarily that. It could be through people gossiping or something like that. Secrets can be revealed, like I said. But for the most part, this is about your career. So for the most part, this is frustrations, or you're just putting energy into your career. You're thinking, right, this is who I want to become. This is my legacy. This is what I'm building. And you can actually channel this effectively into building a healthy legacy reputation for yourself. How do you want to be known? How do you want to be known out in the world? And you're putting your energy into that. Now, you are going to be having a Mercury retrograde, which affects this in July. And that's going to be connecting something to do with your beliefs or legal matters or something that you're learning directly connected to your career. But I'm going to talk about the Mercury retrograde in a separate video. But it is just going to be relevant because Mercury rules Mars while it's in this part of your chart, and something karmic is going to be coming up. Something you're releasing, something you're letting something go about one of the topics I've mentioned that is karmic and that is no longer aligned for you. Could be a behavior, it could be a physical thing. Where later on in a few weeks, when Mars conjuncts the South Node in this section of your chart. So Sagittarius, let me know your thoughts on this transit. What's happening for you? Now, if you haven't got a career, then this is also the house of parents, grandparents, and also whatever goals you're working towards. So I didn't touch on the fact that maybe if you're retired, for example, it could be something to do with you becoming a grandparent, or news about your goals and your reputation that you're working towards. So your status in the world is obviously going to be different if you're no longer working, but what is it that you're working towards? What are you doing for fun, and how are you seen? You know, are you now attending different hobbies and different groups, and that's how you're seen now that you're retired? So that obviously, if you're a little bit older and you're watching this and you're retired, that could be, it will manifest slightly differently for you. As I've said to the other signs, if you would like your own personal chart read, I do readings. Please take a look at my website linked, or you can always drop me an email, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. So Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Rising, you guys are having Mars move into your 9th house. This is not a bad transit for you because it's a fellow earth sign that trines you. The 9th house is the house of adventure and fun and learning and higher education. It's the house of our beliefs. It's the house of our, it's our worldview. It's how we see the bigger picture of the world. It's spirituality. It's religion. It's teachers, gurus, but it's also legal matters. So Mars moving into this house is putting emphasis on your beliefs in some way. So you are putting your energy into your beliefs. Now Mars rules your 4th house. So you could be, there's energy here around your beliefs around the home. What are your beliefs around your home? What are your emotions at the moment, Capricorn? What's going on emotionally for you? Because there's a direct tie here between your emotions, your goals for the future, and your beliefs. It could be that you are learning more. You're studying something. You're studying something about your inner emotional world. You're learning more. You're broadening your world view. in some way, and you're putting more energy into this. You're questioning your beliefs. You're questioning things that are going on at home, possibly. You're analysing things that are going on at home. You're analysing your home environment in some way, and maybe your beliefs and your worldview is changing in some way. Mars 7, so there could be a change in your beliefs. Now, this could also have something to do with legal matters, because Mars is ruling, you've got Saturn and Neptune moving that has gone into your 4th house. What changes are going on in your home, Capricorn? And does this have anything to do with legal matters? It could be that there's emphasis on paperwork. Maybe you're moving, maybe you're renovating, maybe you're knocking down walls or something, and you're having to deal with legal matters. Typically, this is, like I said, this is a house that trines you, so this could actually be helpful. Although Mars can be frustrating as well. So there could be some frustrations about home matters. But I want to say this is more like you're finalising details of legal stuff. Because it's trining you, I think this is more helpful than not. Although there could be some frustrations, it is Mars. But there could also just be you're putting energy into signing contracts, signing paperwork, and organising the details of things to do with that. It could be that you are traveling with family members. Maybe you and your family are traveling somewhere, you're going somewhere, you're putting your energy into flying abroad or going away on holiday. Obviously some holidays are coming up, maybe that's part of this transit for you. You're traveling somewhere with your family. Maybe you are meeting someone that's going to teach you something, and it's going to have an effect on your emotions and your inner internal world. You are personally developing. You could be overthinking about stuff during this transit, because the 9th house is connected to our higher mind, and you could be overthinking about stuff that's going on internally. For some of you, that's definitely possible. Traveling with friends is also possible. Some of you could be learning something from home, like studying something. Could be that you're doing a course and you're studying something, but maybe you're doing it from home. That's also possible. Energy into you wanting to learn, you're wanting to expand your mind in order to reach your goals. That's definitely possible. Now so Mars is going to conjunct the South Node during this transit, which means you're releasing something. So maybe you're having to release a certain rigid set of beliefs. Virgo is very organized, very kind of, it's earth. It's like, okay, these are my beliefs. So maybe you're having to release a certain belief during this. The Mars conjunct the South Node is karmic. It's things from the past that we have to let go of. So Mars conjunct the South Node in your 9th house is like, okay, how can I let go of this belief that I've always had in order to move forward and be more open to connection and communication, and let go of running away. 9th house is where we want to run away, okay? And that could be relevant in some way. You can't run away. You have to learn to communicate. This is what you're learning with the North Node in the 3rd house, how to communicate effectively. There is going to be a Mercury retrograde in your 8th house, which is going to directly impact this. So this is the house of transformation, and this is the house of our psychology. So that could be directly connected to your beliefs as well. But I am going to talk about that in more detail in another video. Now, if you would like your own personal chart read, I do readings, Capricorn, a variety of readings for a variety of budgets. If you need some help, drop me an email, or you can just book through my website. Hope you guys are okay, and I'll see you in the next video. Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. You are having Mars move into your 8th house. This is a little bit, I want to say a little bit more challenging in some respects, because it is a house that quincunxes you. It doesn't quite see you. There's some adjustments. But at the same time, this is traditionally Mars's original house. This is this house of Scorpio. So Mars, in a way, likes being in this house. In Virgo, it's more critical, so we could be really criticising our own behaviour, criticising our mind. Mars rules your 3rd house of the mind, so there actually can be an element of diving into your own behaviour, your own psyche, how you connect and how you communicate, and you could be analysing, okay, am I communicating effectively? Am I thinking healthily? What can I learn about my own behaviour? And there's this energy around your own personal development. This is really good for personal development, for understanding your psyche. Now, Mars rules your 10th house of your career, parents, legacy, reputation. And it also, like I said, it rules your 3rd house as well. So there can be elements of parenthood coming into this. Maybe your parents, maybe diving deep and learning about behavior patterns of your parents, or you are putting your energy into topics of intimacy. And, you know, the 10th house is our reputation. The 8th house is the house that comes after the 7th house of relationships. It's where we get really intimate with people. It's the house of sex. So you could be putting more energy into getting romantic with a partner, putting more energy into that, but you're going to be doing it in a very organized way. So it can be a sense of, right, this is when we need to have a date night. This is when we need to make the love. And just you're organizing your intimacy, and maybe you're making time for intimacy in your schedules in some way. It could also be that you are visiting a therapist. There's lots of the 3rd house is our routines, like daily routines, where we're heading out in the community, we're going here, there and everywhere. Could be that you're actually, there's a lot of time you're visiting a therapist. You are, like I said, you're focusing on your own transformation. This is the house of going through something, and I don't like saying the word crisis, but people, you know, this is the house of crisis, but that sounds like something's really awful is going to happen, and it doesn't always happen. It can just be that you're just feeling really deep, and you're focusing, like I said, on your mental health and on your psyche, and on healing something. This is a really good transit to go to a psychic, go to a medium, connect 3rd house with divination, topics of divination, have a tarot reading, have an astrology reading. You're connecting with those darker topics in some way. You're putting your energy into that. This is also the house of joint finances. So actually, because Mars rules your 10th house of career, maybe you are collaborating, maybe you're earning money from work that you've done. You're coming in, you know, your business partner's paying you, clients are paying you. Money that's owed to you can also come from your partner. So maybe your partner is either coming, you know, paying for you or lending you money, or there's feelings of frustration here too. So you could be frustrated around joint finances. You could be frustrated around topics of intimacy. There can be some conflict when it comes to intimacy, and there can be some conflict when it comes to communication with a therapist or a coach, because maybe things are coming up and maybe you're overanalyzing and you're being self-critical. But for the most part, this is going to be, and also remember that Mars severs things. So it can be you're paying off debts. It can be you're paying off debts. You're getting things cleared financially. That kind of stuff can also happen. So it's not necessarily bad, but there is a focus here on going deeper. And because Mars is a challenging planet, I just feel like this is really connecting your mind and your mental health with deeper, darker topics. And you're being encouraged to focus on this. For a lot of you, it's going to be financial, but for a lot of you, it'll be psychological. So you'll have to let me know how this is manifesting. Now, at some point, Mars is going to conjunct the South Node. There's something karmic. There's a karmic shift here. Maybe you're releasing, maybe you're healing something. This is the house of magic. You could be alchemizing something, meditating and going really, really deep. And then you're actually releasing self-sabotaging behaviors. That can definitely happen with Mars conjunct the South Node. That behaviors that no longer serve you. Next month there is going to be a retrograde in your relationship house, which is going to connect this. So going back over something with a partner related to intimate topics possible, but I'm going to talk about this more detailed in a separate video. If you would like your own personal chart read, Aquarius, I do a variety of readings for a variety of budgets. Please take a look at my website, or you can always drop me an email. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, you guys are going through and doing this transit in your 7th house, okay? This is your relationships. This is relevant because this is an angular house. It opposes you. So you can feel a bit more frustrated with a partner during this transit. They can be annoying you. You can be a bit more critical of them. You're aware of what they're doing, or they are criticizing you. They are nitpicking you, or you are nitpicking them. There's just an element of frustration with a partner. Partnerships can end during this transit. Not for all of you. It's a quick transit, but it's possible. If something is about to end, if something is about to be on the rocks during this transit, might be the time where actually it's over. But for the most part, that won't be it for you guys. It'll just be maybe having to have a heated conversation, or having to really work out some stuff with your partner. It's Virgo. We're getting organized. Mars rules your second house of money. So maybe you and a partner are organizing finances. Maybe you're having to lend them some money and that's where the frustration's coming from. Maybe your values are changing and there's conversations about values or something, and beliefs. Maybe you're lending them money for a holiday, or maybe you're traveling on holiday together. It might not actually be financial. It could just be that you're traveling on holiday together. And that's where the energy is going. You're actually pushing this energy into travel or into learning. Maybe you're learning something together. Maybe you're studying something together. That's also possible. Maybe together you are expanding your worldview. You're expanding your horizons. You're going on an adventure. That's possible. It's just at some point Mars is going to oppose either your ascendant or your sun or your moon or whatever planets you have in Pisces. Mars will oppose that. So that can feel a bit more frustrating. So just watch out for that and just be careful of arguments. Mars is going to conjunct the South Node towards the end of this transit. So there's going to be something karmic coming up about relationships. It could be a behavior that you're being asked to release. It could be a situation that happens that it's karmic. You know, maybe you meet somebody relationship wise that you've met before. Something like that could be happening. Now the 7th house is also all of our one-on-one relationships, by the way. It's not just romantic. So frustrated with a friend, frustrated with a parent, or just spending more time one-on-one with people. You're putting your energy into one-on-one interactions more when Mars is in the 7th house, but conflict can arise more, so you just have to be careful how you're communicating and stuff like that. What else do I want to say about that? This is also the house of sales, so good if you work one-on-one, like making sales, or you're just putting more energy into sales, especially because it rules your second house of money. So making sales, but also cutting off ties. So maybe business partnerships are ending. Maybe you decide you don't want to work with somebody anymore. You could be seeing a therapist. You could be seeing an astrologer. You know, again, it's all these one-on-one connections, especially because Mars rules your 9th house. Meeting a teacher that's going to teach you something. Possible, maybe about your health, learning more about your health because of somebody that you're having an interaction with. That's also possible. Do I want to say anything else about that? So there is going to be a Mercury retrograde in your 6th house that's going to connect this at some point. So this is to do with your health, your routines, and your partner. That's going to be next month, and I am going to do a separate video on that, but it's going to be relevant. But for the most part, this is energy with you and your partner, putting energy in, and you can channel this into making love kind of energy, rather than conflict. Make sure you're going out and getting in the gym, or you're journaling, or you're doing breath work, or you're doing something that can release this, because this is a lot of mental energy. So you could just be overthinking, why is she doing that? Why is my partner doing this? Why is my friend doing this? And that's where it becomes unhealthy. Instead, channel this into going to places with that person in order to get the energy, and you're doing it together. And that will be how you manifest this in a more healthy way. So Pisces, if you would like a reading, I do a variety of readings for a variety of budgets. If you need any extra personal help, remember your personal chart is always more relevant than these generic readings. These still are generic readings. Your personal chart is always going to be more accurate for you. So let me know your thoughts. How is this transit playing out for you? Can you feel this shift already? Thank you so much for watching. If you got value from this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content from me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.